respectfully to Keon Marsh, the Wells family's bodyguard. "Mr. Keon, we're counting on you tonight." Keon gave a cold nod and said, "Don't worry. No one in Orris Hill can stand up to me. Orville isn't making it through the night." Finian was thrilled. This was the moment he and his son had been waiting for a long, long time. Meanwhile, Orville led Jacob and the others straight to the chairman's room at the mansion. He guided Jacob carefully, pointed to the head of the table, and said respectfully, "Mr. Wilson, please take your seat." Jacob still felt a bit out of place. He looked over at Elijah and said, "Mr. Sanford should be sitting here." Elijah's heart skipped a beat. He quickly waved his hands and said, "Oh, Jacob, I couldn't possibly sit there. You should take it." If Jacob had offered him the seat just a moment ago, he would have taken it without a second thought. After all, he was the president and the head of the Fine Arts Society. It was only right for him to sit there. However, after seeing how respectfully Orville was treating Jacob, he suddenly felt a bit intimidated. Luckily, he hadn't made a fool of himself in front of Jacob the way Clyde did. Otherwise, he would have been the one getting sent to a pig farm to get up close and personal with an old sow. Seeing the scene unfold, the others quickly chimed in. "That's right, Mr. Wilson. You have to take the main seat. Please go ahead." Jacob was riding high on all the flattery, so he smiled and said, "Well, since everyone is so enthusiastic, how can I refuse? I won't be shy." After he finished speaking, he sat down at the head of the table, with Rory Hogan and Elijah Sanford sitting on his left and right. Once Jacob was seated, Orville smiled and said, "Mr. Wilson, please wait just a moment. The food will be out shortly. You can enjoy some herbal tea while you wait." As he spoke, a beautiful female manager walked into the room. She leaned in and whispered in Orville's ear, "Orville, that kid from the Harrison family is here to see you." Hearing this, Orville's face lit up. Excellent. Today is the day Mr. Wilson became an executive director of the Fine Arts Society. Since the kid is here, bring him into the room. It'll be a little something extra for Mr. Wilson's celebration. The manager took the order, bowed slightly, and walked out of the diamond box. When Jacob heard that Orville had not only let him use the diamond box, but had also arranged special entertainment, he felt incredibly flattered. "Orville, you really don't have to go to all this trouble." Orville waved his hand and said with a smile, "It's the least I can do." Then he added cryptically, "Mr. Wilson, don't worry. The entertainment I've got planned for you is truly one of a kind in Arius Hill, and it has a little something to do with your son-in-law, Mr. Wade. I promise it's going to make you shine." Upon hearing this, everyone else's curiosity was piqued. They all settled into their seats, eagerly waiting to see what would happen next. After a few moments, the manager returned. This time, a young man followed her, hunched over and afraid to look up. Jacob and the others from the Fine Arts Society were instantly baffled, wondering to themselves, is this kid the entertainment Orville had planned? There's nothing special about this guy. But just then, as the young man walked into the private room, he didn't say a word. He just bowed deeply to Orville, speaking with a mix of respect and fear. "Uncle, I'm here to report in. Please take a look." The young man was Gage Harrison. After the incident at the hot springs, where the words "poor hanging" were carved into his forehead, Orville had made it crystal clear. Gage was to report to him in person every other week for an inspection. This was to make sure the guy wouldn't dare try any scar removal treatments, let alone get plastic surgery. But Orville had no idea that Gage wasn't here today just to check in. He was here to make a move. From the moment he walked in, Gage had been silently counting the security guards. Once inside the private room, he took a closer look at everyone there. He felt a wave of relief when he saw the room was filled with old men. Even if these old masters were friends of Orville, they probably weren't much of a threat. With a machete, he could take them all down easily. Just then, Orville said to Gage, Gage, these gentlemen are the leaders of our Orris Hill Fine Arts Society. Since it's the Fine Arts Society, they naturally have a deep appreciation for artistic penmanship. Lift your head. Let Mr. Wilson and the others take a look at the mark on your forehead. Let's hear what everyone has to say about it. Hearing this, Gage was overcome with humiliation. He wanted to spin around and walk right out, but he knew that his father was waiting for his signal to bring in backup. So he had to swallow his pride for now and play the part. With that thought, he could only grit his teeth, slowly raise his head, and show his forehead to everyone in the room. Even though these guys were getting on in years and their eyesight wasn't what it used to be, the words "poor hanging" carved into his forehead were impossible to miss. Everyone saw it right away. Elijah said in surprise, "What in the world happened here?" This young man, why would someone carve the words "poor hanging" on his forehead? Orville sneered and said, "This guy here has a big mouth and loves calling people poor. He made the mistake of offending Mr. Wade and even called him a poor hanging. Since he likes those words so much, we carved them on his forehead. Now he'll have them with him for the rest of his life." Jacob asked in surprise, "So those words are on his forehead because he offended my son-in-law?" "That's right," Orville nodded. Your son-in-law, Mr. Wade," Elijah said, amazed. "Wow, Jacob, why didn't you ever tell us you had such a powerful son-in-law?" "Yeah," Rory added with a sigh. "Jacob, you really kept this one under wraps. Talk about being low-key." Jacob laughed and said, "Well, my son-in-law is a very private person, so I try to be the same way." Everyone started showering him with compliments. Gage shot Jacob a nasty look, thinking to himself, "So this old fool is Charlie's father-in-law. This must be my lucky day. I'm going to make him pay today. Consider it a down payment on the debt his son-in-law owes me." After being humiliated by the crowd, Gage was kicked out by Orville. Normally, if he got thrown out of the mansion, he'd probably rush straight home trying to hide his face. But this time, he didn't even bother covering his forehead. He stormed back to the parking lot with a look that could kill and jumped into the car, where his dad and Keon were waiting. Finian had been waiting for a while. As soon as Gage got in, he leaned over and asked, "Son, what's it like in there?" Gage gritted his teeth. "Ugh. There are over 30 waiters and security guards, but more than half of them are women. The only ones who can actually fight are the 12 security guards." Finian turned to the middle-aged man sitting next to him, a worried look on his face. "Keon, can you handle that many people? When we make our move, are you sure you won't get hurt?" Keon scoffed. "It doesn't matter that more than half of those 30-something people are women. Even if they were all security guards, they'd be no match for us." Finian immediately gushed. "You're incredible. I'm in awe." Keon gave a cocky nod, then looked at Gage. Where's Orville now?" Gage blurted out, "Orville's in the diamond box, on the top floor." He then leaned in, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "Dad, Mr. Marsh, I found a little bonus for us in there." "Oh yeah? What is it?" Finian asked quickly. Gage grinned wickedly. "I found Charlie's useless father-in-law in there. He's eating there too, and he's in the diamond box. Orville was even waiting on him. When we go in, should we take them out together?" "Charlie's father-in-law?" Finian's face lit up when he heard this. "This is perfect." "At Mr. Smith's birthday party today, that jerk Charlie beat me. Today, we'll start by getting his father-in-law Jacob. Time to collect some interest. If he could kill Charlie's father-in-law, he'd get revenge for himself and his son. Plus, Bradley Wells hated Charlie. If he killed his father-in-law, Mr. Bradley would definitely look at him in a new light." Thinking of this, he turned to Keon and said, You must have heard what Charlie did to Roman Wells and his son at the Smith family's birthday party. Since Charlie's good-for-nothing father-in-law is there too, what do you say we get rid of him as well? Keon nodded. Charlie disrespected my boss and the young master. I'd love to tear him to pieces. Now that I've found his father-in-law, there's no way I'm letting him walk away. Finian nodded excitedly. All right, let's go in together. They're going down today. Meanwhile, in the chairman's room at the mansion, an incredible spread of gourmet dishes covered the table. As the kingpin of Orris Hill, Orville spoke to Jacob with deep respect. Mr. Wilson, I had my head chef prepare this special wellness menu just for you. I hope you enjoy it. These are the finest ingredients you can get in Orris Hill, all natural and free of any additives. Jacob's mouth was watering as he looked at the incredible feast in front of him. Even before the Wilson family went bankrupt, he'd never been to a restaurant this fancy, let alone eaten food this incredible. He had always dreamed of living this kind of lavish life, imagining himself ordering beluga caviar, premium Maine lobster, or a steamed king crab. But for so many years he'd never had the chance. The most expensive meal he'd ever had cost only $2,000 a person. Today he was ready to splurge on a meal that cost $200,000 or $300,000 a person. But Orville's preparations today were truly over the top. A single serving of the best Alaskan king crab cost $8,880. Jacob was absolutely stunned. Not to mention the black truffles, caviar, and other delicacies where even a small plate cost thousands. This whole meal, if you added it all up, had to be at least $2 or $3 million. Jacob had never eaten a meal this expensive in his entire life. He was so excited and busy eating that he said to Orville, "Mr. Orville, thank you so much for this incredible hospitality." Orville gave a small smile, pulled a business card from his pocket, and handed it to Jacob. "Mr. Wilson, here's my card. Please keep it. The next time you want to come to the mansion, just give me a call. I'll have my staff clear out the diamond box for you immediately, and it's all yours." When Jacob took the card, he was beaming. Seeing this, the other members of the Fine Arts Society were practically falling over themselves to be friendly. This Jacob guy is something else. The famous Orville was acting so respectful, almost like a personal assistant in front of him. He wasn't acting like a big shot at all. Orville not only served the food and poured the wine himself, but he even took it upon himself to pour a glass of liquor. He walked over to Jacob and said respectfully, "Mr. Wilson, I'd like to propose a toast." Jacob, flattered, immediately raised his glass, clinked it against Orville's, and then downed the drink. After a sip, he couldn't help but sigh. "Oh, this is really delicious." Orville smiled and said, "This is an aged French wine. A bottle like this has a 6-figure price tag. If you like it, Mr. Wilson, please drink up. I'll have someone bring a couple more bottles over." Jacob quickly thanked him. "Oh, Mr. Orville, I really don't know how to thank you. You're too generous." "It's my pleasure," Orville said with genuine sincerity. "Mr. Wade has been incredibly good to me, and you're his father-in-law. It's only right that I treat you with the utmost respect. It's the least I can do to repay Mr. Wade's kindness." Jacob couldn't help but sigh, wondering how on earth his fool of a son-in-law Charlie managed this. He somehow got Orville completely wrapped around his little finger. Who would have thought? The guy has no other skills, but his ability to bamboozle people is truly something else. The others at the dinner table, seeing how much reputation Jacob had with Orville, were more than ready to start sucking up to him. Elijah couldn't resist raising his glass, a wide smile on his face. "Oh, I really have to thank Jacob for putting all of this together today. This old master has lived a long life, but I have never eaten such a magnificent meal. It's been a real eye-opener." Elijah's expression turned serious. "And another thing," he announced. Today, our Fine Art Society has a new director. Come on, everyone. Let's raise a glass to Director Wilson. Everyone else got the memo? Picking up their wine glasses with smiles. To Director Wilson, they all said in unison. We're all raising a glass to you. When Jacob heard President Sanford take the lead and call him Director Wilson, he was completely surprised. President Sanford, does this mean I was elected? He asked. Of course, Elijah said with a smile. Jacob, our new executive director is you. Hearing this, Jacob was thrilled. He quickly said, Thank you, President Sanford. Thank you, everyone. I'll keep working hard and do my best for our Fine Arts Society. Everyone laughed along, eager to please, and they all raised their glasses together. Just as they were about to drink, there was a loud bang, and the door to their private room was kicked wide open. The people in the private room were startled by a loud bang. Everyone looked up and saw a burly, middle-aged man walk into the room with a stone-cold expression. Following right behind him were 4 other middle-aged men, all with smug, arrogant looks on their faces. These 5 men were Roman's personal bodyguards. Finian and his son Gage trailed behind them, smirking like they owned the place. Orville frowned when he saw them. You two have some nerve, he said, bringing guys here to bust up my mansion. Gage snorted. Huh, Orville, you're a dead man walking, so you can drop the act. Let me tell you, I haven't forgotten for a second how you humiliated me. We're here to kill you today. At those words, jaws dropped around the room. Did they hear that right? Someone was actually bold enough to threaten Orville's life? Orville sneered back. You want my life? Do you really think I'm some kind of pushover? Do you have any idea how many guys I have working for me in Orris Hill? Finian replied coldly. I'm telling you, Orville, it doesn't matter how many guys you have. They're useless. All of the dozen or so security guards you had at the mansion have been taken care of. No one can save you now. As he spoke, he pointed to Keon beside him, a vicious look on his face. These are all masters from the Wells family. With them here, you're not getting out of this alive. You're a dead man. Mr. Wells is giving you one chance. Kneel and lick my shoes clean. He'll leave your body intact. Otherwise, I'll smash you into pieces today. Hearing this, Orville couldn't help but feel a knot of anxiety tighten in his stomach. It looked like he'd been careless. For so many years, his position in Orris Hill had been so secure that he'd started to believe no one in the city would dare to touch him. That's why he'd stopped taking dozens of bodyguards with him everywhere he went. He always figured the dozen or so security guards at the mansion were more than enough to keep him safe. But he never imagined the Wells family would actually make a move on him. On top of that, the 5 bodyguards from the Wells family looked like the real deal. Just one glance told him they were master fighters. It looked like even if he brought 20 guys with him today, he still wouldn't be able to stop these 5. Just then, Gage pointed at Jacob and demanded coldly, "You're Charlie's old man!" Jacob stammered, his heart pounding. "What do you want to do?" "What do I want to do?" Gage sneered. "That piece of trash, Charlie, didn't just humiliate me. He humiliated my father, too. He's lucky he's not here, or I'd kill him on the spot." Then Gage glared at Jacob and said viciously, "But since Charlie isn't here, you, his old man, can pay his debt with interest." When Jacob heard this, his face went pale with fear. He stammered in a panic. "What do you mean? What are you going to do?" "What am I going to do?" Gage gritted his teeth. "I'm going to kill you, of course. Then your precious son-in-law can come and collect your body." Jacob was so stunned that he immediately tried to dive under the table. Around the dinner table, the other members of the Fine Arts Society scrambled into the corners, terrified of getting caught in the crossfire. Just then, Keon said coldly, Anyone who isn't here with Orville or Jacob, get out, now. Otherwise, I'll kill you all. The moment he finished speaking, Elijah Sanford and the others scrambled out of the room in a panic. Jacob's friend Rory froze. He wanted to run, but seeing that Jacob's life was on the line, he couldn't bring himself to abandon him. Jacob was trembling with fear. Seeing that Rory was still hesitating, he quickly said, "Rory, get out of here, fast! If these guys do something to you, I won't be able to explain it to your family." Keon shouted coldly, "If you don't want to go, then you can stay." Rory gritted his teeth, not daring to wait any longer, and rushed out of the room. Jacob was desperate, but thankfully Orville was still in the room. He prayed that Orville could handle the situation. However, Orville couldn't do anything at this point. This group had kicked open the door of the diamond box and made a huge commotion. If things were normal, his own guys would have shown up a long time ago. The fact that no one had come yet proved that his people had already been dealt with. Finian gritted his teeth and looked at Orville, saying coldly, "Orville, your time is up." After speaking, he turned his head and said respectfully to Keon, "Mr. Marsh, please, do it." Keon nodded, took a step forward and said, "Orville, step forward and die." When Orville was younger, he knew how to handle himself in a fight. He wasn't one to just accept his fate. Instead, he got into a fighting stance to face the threat. He said, "If you want my life, you'll have to prove you have the ability to take it. Now!" Keon sneered and said, "You're nothing but an ant in my eyes." With that, he walked straight toward Orville. Orville looked serious, but he knew he couldn't back down now, so he immediately threw a punch at Keon. Keon sneered, only to throw a light punch in return. But when their two fists collided, Orville felt as if his body had been hit by a massive boulder. With a grunt, he felt a powerful impact. He couldn't take it. He flew backward and slammed onto the ground. Orville, now on the floor, went pale. He couldn't believe the man's strength was so unreal. He was completely outmatched. Gage saw this. His eyes lit up, and his heart was filled with joy. And his father, Finian, was even more excited. The one who had just been knocked to the ground was the kingpin of Orris Hills. But after tonight, that was all going to change. He was going to be a dead man. Thinking about this, Finian, Orville, you're pretty arrogant, aren't you? I guess now you're learning that there's always someone bigger and badder out there. Finian walked right up to Orville, gritting teeth. "Before you die, I want you to know what real humiliation feels like." He quickly turned to Keon and said, "Mr. Marsh, please, hold him down for me. I want to carve the words 'poor' hanging on his forehead to get revenge for my son." Keon answered, "I'm here to kill him, not to be your assistant while you carve him up. If you want to do that, you can wait until after he's dead." Finian said, "But Mr. Marsh, if you do that, he won't feel the pain and humiliation of it all." Keon glances at him and said, "See that guy over there? You can carve whatever you want on him. I'm killing this one first." With that, Keon grabbed Orville's neck with one hand and lifted him clean off the ground, his feet dangling in the air. Keon applied just a little pressure, and Orville felt a sharp, crushing pain in his neck. He couldn't breathe at all. It was worse than being hanged. It felt like his windpipe was about to be crushed completely. In that instant, Orville's face turned a dark, purplish color. In his heart, he knew this was it. He was going to die today.